Okay guys, welcome back. Time to go to the mines. Hi guys, welcome back to the second episode of the Quality of Life Survival Let's Play. The couple things I wanted to go over before I start mining some more and continue where we left off in the last episode. I talked about the F3 screen. So we pushed the F3 screen. You can see there's tons of information here. In your top left up here, we have the Minecraft version. You have the frame rates. You have some additional information they added in 1.13. And then you have some other information down here. One thing that I want to point out is the E. When you're looking around, that shows you the entities that are possible and the entities that are in your range. So right now there's one of 89, 0, and this is important when you start mining down and you're looking for mob spawners or something. You'll see that number increase quite a bit. Like, okay, right here, that's quite a few right there, 13. 85. If I was looking for a mob spawner, heard noises from one, I would continue on that way. I have my settings volume turned down, but normally when I'm looking for a mob spawner or something like that, or I hear some mobs, I'll turn it up so I can continue on. Then we continue down, some more information. The XYZ is your coordinates in the world. That's pretty important if you don't use maps or if you get lost, know where you're at. Typically you spawn at 0, 64, 0, but depending on how the land layout, water, and the different types of crevices and just the world generation, that could change. So we're pretty close to that. And then the block is the block that you're looking at, that you're standing on. And then you have the facing. The chunk's important too later on, but when you first start out, it's not super important. The facing shows you which direction you're facing, which is kind of nice to know sometimes. A big thing for me, and especially is really nice on Java, is the biome. So we're in a mountains area. Unfortunately, they're not giving us that information on the Bedrock version right now. It's really something that would make a quality of life difference quite a bit in the MCBE version. So if you guys, anybody at Mojang watch this, we really could use the F3. Light level is the next thing, and you want to at light level 7 and below is when mobs can spawn. And talking about the local difficulty, looking at block, looking at liquid, it shows you what block the coordinate is. And then there's some debug screens that you can enable too, and the information here tells you F3, so you would just push the F3 function 3 button down and then press Q at the same time and then let go, and you would get that information for additional information. So we'll just go ahead and I'll show you that. And there's a bunch of different things there. You can clear your chat, cycle render distance, show chunk boundaries, advanced tooltips, which is pretty nice, especially if you're starting out. So we'll go ahead and do that in F3 and H. It just gives you a little bit more information when you're looking at something. Okay, then on the right hand side, we got the Java version, memory allocation, the memory that's allocated to it, and then the percentages being used, the CPU. This is all kind of system information if you're interested in it. Your display, your video card, the driver information, and then your block information, targeted block. This gets pretty important for people who want to do some technical stuff later on, or if you just want to know what's going on over there. Like here, I'm looking at the diorite block. Now we're looking at stone block. Let's see, and then over here at the granite. That's all I'm going to talk about in F3. And like I said, unfortunately, this is not available in Bedrock version. So this is a Java exclusive. So we'll turn this back off. We still have the advanced tooltips. So like if we're looking at an item in our inventory, you see down at the bottom it gives you the Minecraft name plus the NPT tag numbers and the durability, which you don't normally have showing up. So it's pretty handy. And if it doesn't show durability, it means it's at full durability. Also, one other thing, when I was moving across with some blocks, you see me moving back kind of slow. I edited that out, not on purpose, but I edited it out. And basically what you want to do is hold the shift key down. This works in both Bedrock and the Java versions. So just keep that in mind if you're moving around. The block placement is on the Bedrock version will let you place blocks in front of it. It doesn't work so much on Java, but you know, it's just one of the little quirks, so it's not that important, but just something I thought I'd point out. So like if you're up here on a mountain, you want to not fall down in the hole, I'm just pushing shift and then moving around, and that stops you from falling. Now if you do have lag, that might not necessarily save you, but if you're just playing a single player, you should be good. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and time lapse some of this mining until we get outside and stuff, and I'll be back after that. Okay guys, as this time lapse runs, I'm going to talk about a couple things too. When you first start out, don't be worrying about the mobs. I mean, you're going to need to get some drops eventually, but you know, get familiar with the controls, be happy with that, and be able to move around, jump, you know, climb blocks, do all the things that you can do, and then you know, you can worry about it. If you do encounter a mob, you know, don't feel bad, run off, or you know, get you some room in between you and the mob to be able to address it. Also, we'll go ahead and feed the chickens here while we're at it. But up here, if you got a water source, like I said, I got a hole, and we're going to go ahead and get some wheat started so we can breed our sheep, and then if we need food too from it, we can use it. Typically don't use it, but because we'll have enough animals in the long run. But like you see here, I'm juking the zombie. Just give yourself a little bit of room. It's nighttime, so if you want to go ahead and go back in during this time, you know, don't feel bad about it. Go inside. Gather resources. I'm just trying to get this area cleaned up so we can have some wheat for later on. And one thing to know about placing the wheat, you'll do that if you put it in your hand and you right click and it places the seeds. It's fun fighting all these guys off, but you see, I didn't waste any time. I don't have the tools and stuff to fight a horde, so I went ahead and left. But when you're planting the seeds, anytime you're planting any kind of crops, you can hoe the ground that's four blocks away from the water. So that's why you see a lot of farms that are built like a 9x9 and with the water source in the center, because you can reach out for the water can saturate the ground 4 blocks away. Again, you'll see me here just checking outside to see what's going on, because I can hear the mobs. You know, this could be dangerous if there was a baby zombie there, because they can get through that 1x1 hole. And the other thing too, I'm turned on hard mode, so the mob spawning and fighting, all that's going to be at the maximum level that normal Minecraft works on. If you got into a lot of trouble and you know, it was just making the game not fun for you, don't hesitate to turn the game into peaceful mode. You can do that on the Bedrock version too. So like I said, to me it's more about having fun. Like I said, I do enjoy the survival version, but you know, if you get overwhelmed, you need to take a break from it, go ahead and put it in peaceful mode and just work your way up. And maybe you'll start out with normal and then work your way up to hard. But I find that for me, it's not a big difference between normal and hard, other than maybe some of the harder bosses. But just regular spawning, it's easier. You get more resources off the bat and everything. So if you don't mind doing it, you like the challenge, go ahead and do that. You see, I'm checking my settings here. These guys are a little bit of a pain. But the other thing too, when you go into your controls, make sure you have the controls set up the way you want. Make sure you know how the controls work. You can turn the light from moody, which makes it kind of dark, to fully bright in your options, in the video settings. So go ahead and do that. There's no reason not to. I think that's another quality of life thing. You know, it's to your disadvantage to leave it kind of dark. I know that's how they kind of made the game, to give it a little bit of a more mystique when you're playing this stuff, but honestly, you're playing survival. You know, use all the options you can within your type of gameplay. Like I said, everybody plays a little bit different. Some like more of a harder challenge and won't do any of the easier things. But you know, do whatever it makes you happy to start out playing a game. Don't worry about what other people think. If you're playing with other people, and you know they're going to have rules that you probably all should follow, so you know, follow that. But other than that, like I said, just have fun, guys. Okay, guys, I want to point something out here. I accidentally fell down a little bit, but I knew there was a spot that was going to be able to open up here. So I was already prepared for it. That's why you see me go ahead and place a block here. We got down here, there is we got some tunnels over here, abandoned mine shaft. One thing to clue you in on it, if you haven't played or haven't seen one before, is the spider webs. Usually if you get those, there's going to be an abandoned mine shaft. You can see a skeleton down there, and I'm just blocking that off for right now, just so that we can continue to grab some resources and not be messed with by mobs. Same thing over here. I need to throw a torch down, it looks like, probably, so mobs don't spawn on top of these. But right now we're just gathering resources. Later on we'll come down and get that. In the mountains areas and extreme hills, you're likely to find emeralds also. But we can't mine those right now until we get iron, so we'll just leave that there. I did get, okay, we got 5 iron, so we can do something with that now. That's the reason why I brought along the crafting table too. So we'll just throw that down here. Go ahead and make us maybe go ahead and make 2 furnaces. Furnaces. So some people call them furnaces, but furnaces I think is fine. So I didn't bring any extra wood with me for sticks. So a lot of times, like I said earlier, I'd use sticks because they burn per item. But 1 iron or 1 coal for 5 iron is not a bad trade. So, and we just come along with a whole bunch more coal. And actually, if I can grab this iron up here before it gets done smelting, we can get a full use, because each block will smelt 8 items. So let's go and grab these items and throw them over here. Okay, so we can get a full use out of that. That's kind of being chintzy, but when you first start out and you don't have a lot of resources, something you got to think about sometimes too. If I'd done a little bit more work getting more wood, it wouldn't have been a big deal either, because I could have just used sticks. Like I said, sticks are pretty economical. One other thing too, when you get down in an area like this, you need to make sure you know where you're at. I heard of the water, I heard some monsters, zombie noises anyway, and so that's why you kept seeing me pop up my F3 screen looking around. Also, your pick is good for ores, stone, that kind of thing. But when you get to gravel, sand, and dirt, you're better off using a shovel. Axes for wood. It seems like a basic thing, but you may not be something to start out with. And so if you're using the right tool, you're going to be able to mine or gather your resources a lot faster. Okay, and just keep things lit up. We can hear the monsters pretty good right now, so. Alright, so the rest of this iron up. We can split it up here. And that's why I went in and made 2 furnaces. And alright, we're going to go ahead and make a couple iron picks. I usually don't worry about, well, it looks like I'm only going to make 1 because I didn't bring enough wood. That's something, for me, that's not a smart thing that I did on my part. Normally you should bring I like to bring, you know, at least probably 15 logs when I'm mining it, and I keep them in the log format till I need them. That way they don't take up a lot of my inventory space. Plus I didn't bring any for making a chest down here, which is normally something I do. So we're going to need to make a trip back up, but while we're at it, we can go ahead and grab this emerald over here. Emeralds usually only come in ones. You're better off, you know, if you had fortune or silk touch, then you can come back and make a better use of it later on. But you know, we didn't have that, so it's not, again, something I'm not going to worry about. So we need to get back up there. So we'll just make ourselves some steps. You could technically build some stairs and make our way back up here, but this is fine. Okay, I'm going to throw a torch over there, and I'm going to head back up, and we'll just time lapse this too, guys. I wanted to talk about, you know, this is a unique case when we got down here, and we had the there's another iron. I got distracted here. Oh, okay. See, and that's what I'm talking about. Those abandoned mine shafts. So they're a good place to actually gather resources, farm some mobs. But you know, it's probably better when you're first starting out if you go ahead and make sure you get a little bit of armor and stuff to start out. And as we go back up, I'm going to go ahead and take out this bottom block, since we're talking about quality of life stuff here. And then when we come back down, I'll make some stairs, because it makes it a lot faster when you need to come up and down if you've got your stairs already in place. Now, this is something you've seen maybe earlier. I don't know. That guy just disappeared, or he went back into the block actually. If the block gets a little bit hard to mine, you'll have some of those pop out. They're not hard to kill you, but if you're not paying attention, they can kill you. So, well, there he comes. And they don't have a high lives. Let's see, but they will get you. So, see, it hits pretty hard. So, something you need to look out for sure. They're the stone cousin of the endermites. Okay, then and always keep looking at your saturation, because if you don't have good saturation, your health won't repair or regenerate. Okay, I'm going to leave those jungle logs just in case we come across some cocoa beans somewhere, because you need those to grow the cocoa beans. Maybe we'll find some in a chest, or otherwise we're going to have to find a jungle. And I think these were in our chest, bonus chest when we first started out. So do need a little bit more wood for downstairs, I think. And we'll leave most of this coal up here. And we'll go ahead and do another stack of cobble. And put this stone over here. It's just nice as you're playing along, if you want to go ahead and if you have the coal and stuff to smelt the cobble into stone. And then the stone can be used to make other things. So if you're not sure what you can make with it, put it in your inventory, look at your book, and you want to be in your crafting table so you can look and see what can be made. Because if it's just a 2x2 item, it'll show that it can't be made if you're over here. So you see the things that I can make here, like these slabs. Takes 3 across. And if I look over here in my just inventory and do it, you'll see that's not available unless you switch to showing off. Okay. just something to keep in mind. Throw this emerald up here. I'm not going to take anything down that I don't want. I take the stone axes. Normally you're not going to find trees underground, but you do find areas like the abandoned mine shafts that have wood in them. So, you know, if you're using a stone to disassemble those, or an axe to disassemble, and you're going to be a little faster than breaking them with your hand or any other kind of tool or weapon. So, just something to keep in mind. And at this point, guys, we've sounds like we got mobs outside again, so we can look. Hopefully there's no babies, but it's still dark. But again, like I said, this is kind of what I do on my second and third days. Is I go down and start gathering resources underground, and just be aware of your surroundings. Be careful. Don't be too afraid not to play the game. You know, don't get scared and worry about, you know, dying, because it's going to happen. Even the best Minecraft players die. And here, if you hold the stack down or more than one item, and you hold your left button down, and you move across the crafting grid, it'll space the items evenly, and so it's a little faster when you're crafting. Just like that. Okay, and then like I said, if you click something and you double click it, this is transferring inventories. I talked about that earlier in the first episode, but say I pick these up, or I grab this one, and there's a bunch. If I shift and double click, it brings all the items down into the other inventory. Same way that to move them in the other direction. But okay, we'll finish, or actually we'll place these stairs down, and then we're going to call this an episode, I believe. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. If you have questions or anything, make sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.